Welcome to the video, ladies and gentlemen. Normally I would not film this part, trying to get a tractor in, but all four tires are junk on this and the rears are locked up, they won't roll. It's cold. So this is what we're doing. I pulled it in with this far enough to get the floor jack under it, which is falling apart. There's the wheel. So that's good, no. But this, I had to pull off the side so I could get it back out once I get the tractor in there. I pulled it by hand as far as I could. Won't go anymore. So now I've got a chain wrapped around here to a come along to another chain that runs up here and is hooked to the drawbar on a John Deere B. So this is what I go through to get some of these dang projects in here. This might be one of the worst ones, but yeah, we're gonna set you up in the stand so you can kind of see this as it goes down. Okay guys, this is the official start to the video. I know you just saw a clip of me bringing it in, but welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on this 1969 John Deere 112. This thing was sitting for who knows how long, but with how bad everything is, look how rusty that is. The seat is just completely gone. Like there's nothing there. The platform is completely gone. The hood is rusted shut. It will not open. I already lubricated the hinges and that's still all it'll do. The grill is so rusty that it just falls apart and crumbles when you touch it. I don't know if I can like show how bad it is, but look, this thing is super rusty. The exhaust, I pushed on it with my finger to see, and it's junk. But surprisingly enough, the engine turns and it felt like it had compression. It is low on oil. What a surprise. But I don't think it's blown up. Of course, all the buttons are highly froze up. But there's good news. There. Looks like a patio seat. Because it is. Even though it's completely gone. White paint left there on the clutch pedal. So this tractor is a patio. It doesn't matter because it's a 1969, but it was a yellow patio, new from the factory. Has a factory installed hour meter, or at least a dealer installed hour meter with 1278.3 hours on it. Has tire chains, what's left of them, strap-on ones. And they were in much better shape when I bought it, but the rear end is locked up so it won't roll. So dragging it onto the trailer and then dragging it into the barn and then over here just annihilated the ones that were on the ground. All four tires are completely junk. None of them are going to be even remotely useful, which is sad because it's got all four factory tires. And they're all for the turf tires that have extra tread. The aggressive turfs, as I call them. I don't know what they're actually called. Here's a sleeve hitch for it. That's also froze up. Nothing will move. I already lubricated a bunch of it, hoping that it will come loose. Somebody has this put on the back, and when I bought it, this battery was pushed up in against the back plate. And I think probably because how much this rusted out, but the platform was sitting on both posts. So I did pull it out here to look at the back plate to see if it had linkage, which it doesn't. So they must have taken it off, or they had another tractor, because this is green. So I did get a 210 with this. They both came from the same place. We'll do a video on that later. But it does have rear linkage, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. This tractor at one point had a tiller. Has this tiller linkage rod thingy there. Lights. Somebody was pretty good at driving this thing, because this headlight bezel and this hood are in perfect shape. There's not a crack in either of them. I'm sure this is going to be pretty brittle as much as this sat outside, but the story on these was, I guess, the person I bought it from, his son was in the tree service industry, and these two tractors, this and the 210 I got, were sitting at a place where he was doing some work, and they just gave them to him. So I got a pretty good deal. I paid 250 bucks plus going and getting them for this tractor and a 210. 210's in a little better shape, but I mostly wanted the sleeve hitch. But this tractor here intrigues me, so I want to try and get this thing running and see what I can do with it. If I do get it running and driving and the engine and trans are functional, even just the engine, I have plenty of transmissions, there's two more there. Even if the engine's the only functional thing on this and it runs good and doesn't smoke, I got a platform right there off of Patio 110 that has this cut out. So I think I'll cut them both in half and make one of two. Scrap the rest. But this tractor really intrigues me, and I hope it interests you too. The first thing I think I want to do is get rid of this interesting contraption, because that sticks out 2 feet and it's in the dang way. So we're going to delete these battery cables and this battery. And then I think I'd like to try to yoink this off of the back here. Got to figure out how it's attached and get it off. It is like eating away part of this back plate. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but right here it goes in, and there's like an 1/8 inch less material. Over here, material's just chipping right off. I've never seen a back plate this bad. The move here might be to replace this back plate with a different one, because it is definitely not structurally sound anymore. And that's going to be a real pain to get off of there. We've already got to replace, potentially, the platform. So I think what I'm actually going to do, instead of starting here with this and trying to get this off, I'm going to start by taking the hood off, seeing how bad the top of the engine is, and then if the engine will run, if I can get the engine to run and not smoke, we'll move on and replace this back plate and do something about this platform and take care of the back. I'm not concerned about anything on this tractor except for the engine. If the engine is bad, I do not have another 10 horse, and I don't really think I want to rebuild it. But if the engine is good in this tractor, I have every other part that this could need around, except for a frame. I don't think I have a 112 Kohler frame, but the frame should be okay. But yeah, I've got transmissions out to wazoo, tires and wheels, which will of course need replaced. I've got a platform over there that I want to combine this one with. And yeah. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do to start with is the engine. So let's go pop the hood off and see what we're working with in there. Okay, the hood is unbolted. All the nuts are off. Okay. Go. Oh. That might have been more than a mouse. It might have been a squirrel. That is not what you want. Okay. There's more white if you're interested. Now that the hood is off, let's take a look-see down in here. Well, that's a good ground right there. Probably not, no. At least they have another small tiny ground wire going somewhere else. Okay, what's this? Oh. Oh, that's the hour meter kit. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Proof right there that the hour meter was factory. There's green paint on all the hour meter stuff. Wires and everything. That zip tie just broke and fell apart. They had that zip tied there. Wowzers. Okay. I guess the plan now is going to be to get all this creature house out of here, and then we can inspect the top of the engine. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's a peanut shell. There's a bunch of those. Got different kinds of nuts. Boy, oh boy. Okay. Well, that's another reason that the grill got so rusty and that these rusted solid, is because there was so much of this. Oh, lovely. Oh, we can look in the gas tank now. Correction, we can try to look in the gas tank. Let me get some pliers. Okay. Come on now. Ah, there it goes. Maybe it started to turn. Come on, little guy. I know you can do it. Oh, there's still liquid in here. It's very varnished. I guess that means the tank isn't leaking. It doesn't look terribly dirty. We'll mess with it more later. I want to get this creature house off of here, so let me do that. Alright, so as you see, and as you saw, it isn't good. There's a big hole rusted through here. Other than that, I don't see any big holes rusted through, but it's not in good shape. I just lubed a bunch of stuff up. I'm hoping that it'll free up stuff like this. I want to be able to flip this forward with the bezel without taking the uprights off, so that I can get the grill out while the uprights are in the tractor. I also noticed this gas tank has never been taken off. See, the straps don't have the bolts up on top. I never noticed this till not too long ago, but Deere put the bolts right here on the front bottom. You can see it down in there. And people just switch them around when they have them apart, which I do too because it's easier to get to. I'm hoping that I can use some of this stuff. Carburetor's not a problem. I can find another one. I might have another one, or I might even be able to rebuild that one. These carbs aren't steel, so it shouldn't be too rusty. We'll see. Like I said, didn't show you all that great, I don't think. But hour meter painted over green on the wires. So it is a factory hour meter. It is true 1,200 hours on this tractor, which is up there. I'm not saying that that's low hours, but I've had way higher hour tractors. This engine does turn, but before we try and get it running and do anything with it, I will have to take a bunch of these tins off and clean out all the fins and everything, because it is going to be full of junk. But for right now, it's 6 o'clock. I got to work in the morning. So I'm going to go in and relax and let this Freol do its thing. Hopefully it'll free all this stuff up that I've lubricated. So I'll bring you back tomorrow. Alright. I was able to get this loosened up, let it soak for 2 days with Freol, and was able to get her to move. Worked it back and forth a little bit. Now it works pretty decent for being froze up 2 days ago. I also went ahead and blew all this stuff out and took out the paper mache grill. So that's all out of the way. It's not real good. Over here, I think this was the bathroom on this side. And so this tin has pretty well had it. But everything else looks savable-ish. Carburetor is big time froze up. This is froze up. That seems like it moves on the carb. But that is not interested in... Oh, there it goes. There it started moving. Okay. I'm in hopes that I can get everything from here back to just move easily. The carb I'll take off and rebuild. I haven't even tried them, but I'm not surprised. Should have tried those the other day when I got this, so that I could lubricate them accordingly. Oh, where is they? Oh my. Run some of that down it. I can't even see them. Pain in the butt to get you guys in to see them. I am going to be honest. I'm not real hopeful that those are going to break free. Those are some of the worst ones I've seen. But we'll be optimistic. I don't think that's helping. That's probably froze up too. Pretty much everything in this is froze up. Oh. I want to use as much of this tractor as I can when I put this together and use it. I like that it's kind of original. I do like the patina. I think it would benefit highly from a wet sand and maybe some clear coat to bring the color back out. I do not want to hook up a battery yet because I'm going to have to go through all this wiring and make sure there's nothing bare. Like that. Oh, that's not bare. It's just missing a coating. Figure out where things go like this. This. It's just two wires. One's cut. One's removed. It's orange. Where's it come from? This fuse. Now, since this has both options, the only thing this doesn't have is the cigarette lighter. Maybe that's for that? I wouldn't think so. That there should be for the hour meter. I'm going to spend some time, look through a bunch of this wiring before I try and hook up a battery, that's for sure. But this is a big win, getting this open, getting that grill out. I think I want to get this tin off and see, number one, how much stuff is in there. I wasn't able to blow much out, so maybe it's not full. Also, that'll give me access to remove the exhaust, the muffler, and I can put a different one on it because like I showed you earlier, this one's junk. And maybe replace this tin if I can find another one cheap. I wanted to show you guys before I absolutely destroy this muffler getting it off here just how bad it is. It's just coming apart. I don't know how well it is on camera, but it even sounds terrible. Normally you just grab the bottom, pull to you, and that'll turn this on here, come loose. Watch. The whole muffler just moves around. This whole thing is pretty much completely junk. Zero hope of saving it, which I figured after looking down there, but this just confirms that this muffler has seen some things. So now I get to have fun trying to get that thing off of there without messing, well, everything up. As you saw, head stud came out with the that shroud. Fortunately, and somehow, there's not a ton of mouse house on top. I am seeing some. Camera won't focus on it. I'm seeing some down in below, so maybe there's a little in the bottom. It'll blow out once we get this thing cranking over. I'm not going to put those shrouds back on anytime soon, I don't think. That'll just give us more access here to have stuff come out and to be able to get stuff out. But, I mean, all in all, these bolts both came out like they were put in yesterday. I expected a fight on both of those, maybe even breaking them off. So I think this tractor wants to live. It's not ready to go to the junkyard yet. Looks a little rough, but I think it's going to be a good tractor once I get it running. I might be wrong. It's happened before, but I'm excited. I think this is probably reusable. Oh, wait, it has a pinhole in it. Maybe I should weld it first. Or just throw it in the scrap bin and pretend I never saw it. Got a muffler right there that I'm going to use. It's off of that 69-110 that I parted out. But that's not what you want to see inside. So that's good. Let's... Ooh, crunchy. Before we go any further, trying to spin the engine over or what have you, let's do an air filter delete. See how gross that is. We should probably be scared. Well, hello? I've just never. Come off of there! There it goes. Yeah, like I said, should be scared. At least they were maintaining it. Looks like a decent air filter as of when they parked it. No dirt inside. Couldn't do that again if I tried. Oh, let's take a look-see in here. Actually, it does not look too bad. That doesn't look hopeful. Well, it doesn't look helpful. Probably doesn't make no difference. Now, I'm going to see about turning this engine over by hand. Try and watch, see if that exhaust valve does its thing. Oh, there it went. Uh-oh. Oh, I see the issue. Focus further out, you darn thing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there we go. We're pulling up a little bit of mouse house here. So I'm going to go ahead and try and pull that out real quick. Well, it seems as though the mouse house is gone, but just turned it over a bit no longer have compression, it doesn't feel like. So looks like we got some mud and stuff in there. Should have blowed that out before I turned this engine any. I don't see anything happening in there yet. Okay. Oh, that's not what you really want. So I'm going to try and blow some of that out of there with the air compressor. And what's going to happen is it's going to put it in the engine. So I will then have to proceed to take the head off anyway. So I think I'm going to get on the old Scamazonian or Evil Bay and order up a head gasket for this before I go and mess any of that up. And we'll just take the head off to start with and go from there. Okay, so I'm going to do the right thing for once. And instead of just ordering parts willy-nilly, I am first going to remove this head and see if I'm just wasting my money by ordering a head gasket. But before we do that, let's do this. Now, little feller, you come back here now. Okay. See, thinking ahead now all that crap won't be in the engine when this head gets removed. A little worried about these next two. Oh, with good reason. Dang it. Come on. These two are into the exhaust. Oi. And so they tend to get rusty, and then they just want to break off. This one's not interested in moving. Kind of figured we'd have issues with it. Let's jam some of that in there. Hopefully it hit the right place. Oh, please don't break off. If this thing breaks off, this project's going to get a lot bigger. Oh, please don't have broke. Oh, sweet. Got it. That was worrying me. See what's behind door number 1. Hey, that head gasket looks pretty good. We might be able to actually reuse it. Yeah, this is a pretty good head gasket. It might even be newer. Not blowed up. That's a big thing. I'm going to blow all this crap that's stuck in here down through. But first, I'm going to turn the engine until the exhaust valve reopens. Uh-oh. Oh, that was the compression release. Okay, ready? Then while that valve's open, since it was getting a little sticky, I'm going to run some Freon down the valve stem. Try and get that freed up a little. Now both valves are opening and closing decently. That's a little cleaner. Really didn't have too much carbon though. Stamped A, I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure that the factory pistons weren't stamped anything though. And I think that might be a replacement exhaust valve. It's possible this thing's had a little engine work. Now I'm going to clean up the head gasket a little bit, and then go clean up the head, and I'll be back. Copper coat on the head gasket. Set that on there. The head, of course, cleaned up decent. Usually does. And for whoever's next taking this apart, I'm going to slather all the head bolts and studs in Never Seas. I'm working on trying to get this carb off so we can go through it. And I just cut this line. Still had gas in the line. This little pump is a trooper. It held a prime for a long time. I'm thoroughly impressed. What a surprise. Couldn't get the ball joint apart there, so I done bolted over here. We'll work on that. And I got both of the bolts loose, but this carburetor is not real interested in coming off the front of the engine. There it goes. Now we're making some progress. Okay, I finished rebuilding the carburetor the other night when you guys weren't looking. It's gone through. What I'm going to do now is hook up this battery. I just hooked up one side because both these are black, and probed and made sure that that was in fact the positive. So the wire that's hooked up is this one, well, the cable. I'm not very confident in the connection there, But it made my voltage meter read, so we're going to give her a send. I have not hooked up the negative yet. I wanted to do that on camera, just in case it decided to catch fire. So, let's do the spark test. There's no draw, no power's being pulled. So nothing's shorted out up to that point. Let's delete this. Put that over there. Get this out of the way. I want to get it cranking over with the key before I put the carb on, because I want to make sure that we have spark. Because with nothing on the front of the engine here, it'll be easier to get to everything there. So I want to make sure it has spark, and then I want to get all the old gas out of the fuel pump and replace the lines before I go any further. So let's hit this key. I'm not confident, but let's see if it cranks. What a surprise. It does nothing. Okay, so now it's about the time where I put you guys in the stand and start probing wires. Okay, so I'm not sure yet if I time-lapsed the clip you just saw or not. I planned to, but there was actually some information in there. If I did time-lapse it, it turns over by putting the lone wolf on it. Pulled the key switch, and it's clearly bad. 2 of 5 terminals came off of the key switch, broke off when I pulled it. The start was one of them. Normally the battery one comes off. I'm surprised. Interesting. So now I get to try and get that cleaned up. Once that's cleaned up, in theory, everything should work. Alright, I brought out new points, new condenser, new spark plug, fuel system. So it's tune-up time, because as bad as the rest of this is, I'm not even going to try to use what's on it. So, and I'm already apart, so why not do it right the first time? Okay, new points is on, new condenser, new plug, cranked it over. It does have spark somehow with this coil, so we're just going to run with that. I've continued to soak these. I'm currently in the process of trying to get the fuel lines off. I already got this one off, and I would like to try to run my new fuel line in the same orientation as that, but with a filter and a shutoff. So we'll see if I can make it happen. But currently I'm just trying to yoink that off. Alright, so I've done some things without ya. Cleaned out the tank, put it on, ran a line, filter, shut off, goes down to the pump, comes up into a filter, and then it's going to go to the carb. That pump was kind of dirty, so I decided I needed that. I put a new air filter in it, because I don't want to start it without one, because I'm sure there's going to be junk blowing everywhere. Put the wrong muffler on it. This is off of 110. Didn't realize they're different. This just comes straight out. 110 has a 90. So that'll work temporarily to make sure it runs. I'm not trying to blow my eardrums out. So we have spark. I'm going to crank it over until we see fuel out of this. Then I'm going to fill the carburetor with gas. And we should, in theory, be ready to hook the fuel line up and hit the key and see if this thing will start for the first time in who knows how long. I do need to plug in the hour meter also. I want that to be keeping track of hours. Let's crankalize, make sure we're getting fuel. Well, that's not what you want. So far, we're not pumping fuel. Well, I can't say that I'm surprised, but I am disappointed. So here's what I'm going to do, because it's... Where's my crunch? There it is. Because it is approaching the time that I got to go in, because I got work in the morning. Hey, get on there. And I want to hear it run tonight. Don't tell me there's not enough space. So what I'm going to do you fiddlestick. Come on, you bollocks. They don't really leave space. There it is here. Okay, what I'm going to do is just grab up a bunch of gas, start feeding it into the carb. Should have some gas now. Make sure we have sparkles still, because that didn't sound like sparkles. We have sparkles. Really didn't want to do this, but it's leaving me no choice. You scurvy scallywag. Well. I bet the pump is plugged up. That's probably why that's not going. I wasn't able to get air to go all the way through it. Couldn't remember if that's normal or not. I'll have to take it apart to clean it. But that should fire. I don't know why it won't fire. Unless it's this plug wire is being problematic. If you look, the meese is chewed on it. My little spark checker said that it was making sparkles. with it, so I assumed that it would be fine, but I guess you know what happens when you assume. I don't know. Guess instead of just thinking, I should check it. Yep, it seems that it is. This coil might be weak. It might need a coil anyway. I heard it run. Okay. Now that it started once, blew everything out. Ooh, get on the ding. She's a runner. Or she will be anyway, after some help. Well, she's running awful fast. Bring her down, feller. By the lack of stuff spraying on the muffler, I'm going to guess that that pump isn't going to come around. It won't run on gas for some reason. I'm putting gas into the carb, that's what this is. But it won't run on the gas. Pretty certain that I adjusted those. I don't know why it won't run on gas. I rebuilt the carb. It should have no problem running on the gas I'm giving it. Alright, well, as you see, it wants to run. It does not want to run on gas, so that's weird. But it's after 7, so that means I am going to call it a night. I get up kind of early to go to work. So we will maybe work on this tomorrow. Possibly finish it up. I think I'm going to have to pull the fuel pump off and do something with the carb. I don't know why this thing won't fire on gasoline. It might be in need of a little more help to get it there. Not sure, but we will mess with this more tomorrow. But as you see, it's going to be a runner. All right, y'all. So as you see, there's no fuel pumping. So I'm going to disassemble the fuel pump. Also, I still have not got the choke and throttle freed up. So I think the throttle I can run by hand and overrun the cable. I think the choke, next time we start it, I'm just going to take the cable loose so as I can manually use that. I pulled the fuel pump off and it's just locked up. I know you guys can't tell but there's no resistance other than the small spring. So it's gunked up and stuck inside. I've got 3 of 4 screws out. So let's take this last screw out and find out what's inside. Nothing regarding this fuel pump has been tight yet. Or as tight as I would put it anyway. This is going to make a mess. I really don't want to mess that gasket up. Ooh, there it goes. There we are. Okay. Ooh, yummy, yummy. No. Yucky, yucky. This is all froze up. This is a diaphragm. This should move around, which is telling me, more than likely, up in on top of this diaphragm, there's a bunch of gunk and yucky stuff. I think this diaphragm needs replaced. Ooh, yeah. That's old gas. Inlet and outlet, not the cleanest. This thing definitely needs cleaned out good. I think this diaphragm's not usable. It's, when I bend it, it cracks. So it's gonna leak. There's no way that this thing's gonna be any good. As much as I would love to be able to use it, I don't think it's going to be usable. The bottom half is good. Top is all gunked up. I mean, it's all dirty, but yeah. So probably have to get a new diaphragm, and definitely have to clean these 2 pieces up significantly. Much as I hate to do it, I think I'm going to get the ultrasonic cleaner out again and just run all of this through that and see if that helps me out. Okay, so I took the pump apart, ultrasonicked it for like 3 hours. This thing was nasty. And put it back together. Number one, I had to use the old diaphragm because the new one that I bought is the wrong size. This wouldn't go in, so I filed it down. Then it's way too big. So I was going to use this because it did soften up a bit with 3 hours in the ultrasonic cleaner. But I was still having the issue of this wouldn't pump. By the time this got up high enough to pull the diaphragm down, it was hitting against the frame or the casting here. So I've got it all apart, drilled out the rivet. This is the stupid design that they used. This all should have been one piece, but oh well. It's looking like someone bent this. You see that push out right there? Indicates a bend. Also, that's way steeper than it should be. So I think someone somehow managed to bend this. But that's probably why this was parked, if I had to guess. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so after looking, this is not bent. Because this is kind of the same way. And this one works just fine. I think this pump would have been fine, but usually they're dirty. And I don't have a gasket kit, so if I take it apart and the gasket's bad, I'm done. So I found this plastic one, and you guys know I hate these. So I took this one apart and rebuilt it. Used that kit because it fit this one. And I tested it, and it works. And I've put water in it and held it like so. And I had nothing leaking down through here, so hopefully nothing will come into the oil. That's what they usually do. So we're just going to use this because it works and it was here. So this I'm going to tinker with later. But right now I want to get that tractor running. So we're going to take this out and put it on there. Well, I just spent the last longer than I'd like to think about installing that piece of trash plastic fuel pump. They don't give you any space to get a socket or anything in there, and there's not space on the tractor to get a wrench in it. So that's fun. But I've now hooked up the battery, turned on the gas, and we already have gas clear up here. So what I'm going to do is turn this back down. Okay, that's hooked up. Next step, like I said, chokes froze up. So I'm going to try to pop this off if I can get something in there to it. Yes. Okay. Give it a good, healthy several snorts. Choke it. That was definitely on some gas there. There's no way that it ran that long on ether. Give it a little bit more. Re-choke it. And do this. That way everything's hooked up. You won't believe this, but watch. Don't be touching that. Charging system's even working somehow. Power meter's working. This thing's cherry. Clutch doesn't work. That's from years of sitting with it pushed down though. See, I can do, and you can hear it grind. Belt stopped. Put it in gear. See the belt trying to turn? So we're slipping. And actually, now that I think about it, this rear wheels wouldn't roll. So I wonder if the transmission is locked up internally and it's not just the brake. I'll have to look into that. She's a runner. Okay guys, so we have it running. It does not drive. We've already got well over 2 hours of footage. So that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you want to see with this tractor. I would like to get it running and use it. In the next video, we'll be putting different tires on it, getting it driving, fixing the clutch, servicing it. All I've got to do now is change the oil. I already did a full service on the engine other than oil. I might not even put that in the video. Next video is mostly going to be getting it drivable. This one was just getting it running. So, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and let me know in the comments what you want to see with this thing. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.